Hello everyone, and welcome to our 5th tutorial. This tutorial is going to be on creating a slideshow and lining up some elements on your dashboard. And I am also going to show you how to put some news feeds into your ChiroChannel for your scroll bar, and that would be for your template. So what I did here was I just opened up a plain blank canvas. And I wanted to show you that on the bottom part of your canvas, there's an icon that's a hash mark. And if you click on that, you'll see that there are some blue grids that open up and line up right here. And this allows you to lay out your elements so that they're in a nice fashion. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my image property box, and I'm going to bring in this baby picture. And I'm going to line that baby picture right up to a square right up here in the corner. And I've got even space around this picture, so it's nice and even. I might even crop it down just a little bit so that it's also even on this line here as well. So that looks good. And what I want to do is I'm going to bring in some text. And I'm going to bring that text over here and stretch it out to where I think it would go, but we don't know until I get it all written out. So my first comment up here is going to be, it is better to grow a straight spine and then I'm going to increase the text sign over here on the left. Then I put the three dots there. So I can line it up with this line up here on the top so that your verbiage is even with your picture up here. And then I'm going to add another text box. And we'll bring it down where I think it's going to go. I can line it up and drop down 3 more. Then to fix a crooked one. Give that an exclamation, and we're going to also increase that size. Okay, so I'm going to put that at 100 points for my text. I'm going to see if that's 100 points. If not, I'm going to change it to 100. That's going to make it all even. Looks good. I'm going to raise this box up a little bit. So you can use this grid mark to line up your text, line up your elements, which is really awesome. But there's another way to do that as well. And I'm going to show you down here on the bottom. When you click on an element, you can see that you're on an x-axis and the y-axis. And if you look, I'm going to move this picture around, and you'll see those numbers change. And what it allows me to do is I'm positioned 100 pixels away from my x-axis and 102 from my y. So I'm going to actually put that at 100 and 100, and it's going to be perfectly laid out up here. The height at the top and the width on the side is going to be exact. So these elements here, you are basing everything off of your upper left-hand corner, which is your x and where your x and your y axis meet. So those are those numbers down here. On the right-hand side, you'll see the W and the H, and that is your width of the element and the height of the element. And you'll see if I increase this or change this, you'll see those numbers change. So that allows you to get things exact, especially when you're making a circle. Like I showed you in our basic elements, if you make a circle, the height and the width should be exactly the same and you'll have a perfect circle. Okay, then on the right-hand side, we have our text boxes here. And again, you're going to look, they're 1200 in length and 104 in width. The width doesn't matter. But I want to make sure that it's lined up perfectly. So I'm going to look at your x-axis. Now remember, it takes it from the upper left-hand corner. So it's 1198 away from the x-axis and 102 from the top. This picture is 100 from the top. So we're going to go and make this 100 from the top. And that lines that up perfectly from the top. Now we're at 1198. We're going to take this text box here and look at that. We lined it up perfectly, 1198 and 599 from the top. Well, we can raise that up a little bit. We're going to put it to the bottom of that picture, actually. And we're still going to be at the 1198, which is perfect. Stretch our text box out. And then you have an item on here that's perfectly lined up. This really makes it nice and easy for you to put your elements on a page so they are proportionate and line up perfectly. Just a side note, if you do forget to click off this hash mark right here, don't worry about it, because see, they're all gone and you have a beautiful white background. But if you accidentally leave them on, they're not going to show up on your display. So we're going to save this and go back to our dashboard. I am going to show you how to put a slideshow into a dashboard. So I've already made this slide. It's just an empty slide. It's called Slideshow, and I'm gonna edit it and open it up. And it's already got hash marks in here, which is going to be nice. On the left-hand side, you're going to see apps over here. And on the very first top line, you're going to see slideshow. I'm going to click on the slideshow, and it's going to bring a box waiting for some information to go into it. So you see on the left-hand side, it says slideshow properties. And right now, it has no image folder selected. So we're going to click on select image folder. And just like I showed you in previous videos, if you click on your folders, you'll see different folders open up, and I'm going to pick Slideshow 2. And I am going to come down here in the bottom and say Use Current Folder. And you'll see it has now populated that name over here with Slideshow 2. And I'm going to click on that and just click the arrow button and the Enter button. Now you can make these pictures as large as you want just by stretching out the corners, and it will go appropriately according to the pictures you've picked already. And you can line them up on the grid wherever you want them to go. Okay, you can play them in random order unless you want them to play specifically one right after the other. You can put a border around those pictures, and each one of those pictures will have its border. I'll make it yellow so you can see. The times per second or times per image, I would increase this probably to at least maybe 5 seconds between each image so it doesn't go so fast. It's really a quick transition for that. And then you'll see transition animation. You can pick a fade in, rotate horizontal, or rotate vertical. So if you pick the fade, you have a nice transition for the fading. And if we pick rotate horizontal, which is always interesting, that's a fun animation to use on a slideshow. And you can also pick rotate vertical on a slideshow. Very simple and easy to use. So how does that fit within my template? Well, remember how we showed you in earlier videos. We're going to go to Page Properties down here on the left-hand corner. And I don't have a background image, so I'm going to click on Change. And I'm going to bring in my template background. And I'm going to click on my template, and I'm going to use that page. And I click off those hash marks. So you see I just kind of plopped it in the middle. This is where I can just pick that slideshow, click on it, and I can move it and resize it however I want. You can make them small enough that if you wanted it to be part of the template and put it off center a little bit, you can do that too. And just have it show up off to one side. That way you have enough room within your display to show your own chiropractic images here too as well. So that's a great way to bring a slideshow up. The next element I'd like to show you, we've shown you data properties down here, which is what you see on your templated background, but you can also do a news feed here. So I'm going to save this and go back. And we're just going to put a background, open up a new slide, add a blank page. And in that blank page, we're going to click Edit. And I'll just pop a background in there real quick. Pick those flowers, use selected, and we're going to stretch that out. Just so we have something in the background. So in these apps on the news feed or the RSS feed, they're similar to your My Data. I'll click on here. And it's actually it's a place for your news articles, news information. So on the left-hand side, you'll see select what country you're in, and of course we're in the United States here. So I'm going to pick that, and then we are going to select a news source, and I'll just grab CBS News for the heck of it. And we are going to decrease the size of the print. And it's going to have unlimited amount of articles in here. And you'll see when I click on this little half circle, they'll start to feed in. You can make it a single message, which is what I have here. We're going to include the content, or if you wanted it to be a ticker, you can stretch this up. And then we're going to pick the ticker content. And then we're going to click on. So now you've got a ticker tape with your CBS News on it. I'm going to turn that scroll speed down here on the left all the way down to 1. You want it to be 1 so it's easier to read. And if you cannot see the of course, the background here, this is where your basic elements comes in. We're going to stretch this box up, and I'm going to move it to the back, and now you can see your news element here coming. So that's a great way to, if you're not putting on your own data, you can definitely put in the CBS News or any local news in your area from that picker. So that is the end of our tutorial, and we'll be starting a new one shortly.